Hello everyone, we're back with another Raiders video. In this video, I'll be giving my game preview for the Raiders preseason week 1 game at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. So let's get into it. After the Raiders game against the Jaguars, they just cut Jordan VC, signed Chris Lacey, another receiver, so they just flip-flop receivers. They worked out, I believe, 3 running backs this past week, maybe more, but at least 3. Just trying to get, some of their guys that they like, they replaced one receiver with another. At the quarterback, rotation, I would rather, I feel like it wasn't very fair between Stidham and Mullins. I know Stidham knows the playbook, but, you can't just give one guy more playing time and then when he has better stats, call him the quarterback too. I think you have to give Mullins more time. Chase Garbers, it doesn't really matter to me how much he plays. I think he's the worst quarterback on the roster. If he gets cut, I wouldn't be that. I wouldn't be, unhappy. If he makes the practice squad, I'd be surprised. Our receiver, I still don't want Devontae Adams or Hunter or Darren Waller. I know he's a tight end hitting the field. I'd rather have, more Marcus Robinson, more Keelan Cole, more Matt Collins, more Tyron Johnson, because that receiver 3 spot, wide receiver 2 outside spot, or you could say wide receiver 3 in total if you're counting Renfro. That spot hasn't been decided yet, so they need more action. It's only the second game that they have of 4 in the preseason, and they need to use as much playing time as they have to on the field to figure out who this guy is. Tyron Johnson had the most yardage, but also dropped a couple passes, as I mentioned in my last video, and at the same time, Matt Collins didn't really do much, but Matt Collins, Tyron Johnson have been the risers in the camp. But Demarcus Robinson, I think, was still just after a couple of weeks of training camp and after one preseason game. I don't think that means that he's knocked all the way down here. So I have to see what happens. Demarcus Robinson and Keelan Cole also. I think Keelan Cole could make the team as the receiver 3, but I think he's dealing with 2 high risers, obviously. And then, and at the back there, DJ Turner, Dylan Stoner, who's on the pup list. I don't know if he's going to be back. The guy that they signed, Chris Lacey. All these guys, besides, the 4 other guys they named, Matt Collins, Tyron Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, and Keelan Cole. After that, the rotation doesn't really matter to me, some practice squad, some potential practice squad guys out there trying to get their spot. Isaiah Zuber also. Isaiah Zuber, DJ Turner, both return guys. I don't really think they need any of them. The Raiders have so many return guys, which makes sense. And then at tight end, tight end 3 spots left to be determined. I don't think Jesper Horsted will be the tight end 3. I guess he does have an outside shot, but I think it's mainly between Bowers and Hollister. Keep him out there blocking, give him some targets. Try to figure out who this tight end 3 is supposed to be. On the O-line, I think, Andre James, it doesn't really matter to me if he plays at center. I would Parham, I think, will play in center in this game, but I would rather see Parham play at guard, because I think it'd be a waste to have Parham at center as a backup, or even as a center trying to be the starting center. I think Andre James is the clear starter. So I think, try him at guard, especially with Denzel Good retiring. Try him at guard, especially with Leatherwood being at right tackle now, especially with Brent Parker being hurt. So then, that means more likely Leatherwood is going to be a right tackle. Denzel Good's gone. He was a left and right guard. And now Parham could just play guard. But, he still have to beat up Simpson. Lester Collins has looked apparently great in training camp, looked good in the Hall of Fame game. So, I still want Parham to have a chance out there at guard. There, Munford, I still want to see him out there at tackle more, even though, he was playing right tackle in the Hall of Fame game and training camp, even though he was a left tackle at Ohio State. The Raiders have Bamadale Olaseni from Utah, who had some really good blocks in the Hall of Fame game. He's trying to be the backup left tackle behind Colton Miller. I would not mind if Darren Munford ended up being the backup right tackle, or at least a good option, And then Simpson, I'm not the biggest fan of Simpson, I'm not gonna lie, but if he's the best option they have, then he's the best option they have at left guard. On the offensive line, rotations also matter, but just improvements matter also. Some of these guys have to play better. Darren Munford didn't look good at all. Parham, is he gonna be a center? He's gonna be a guard. Still things they have to figure out. Brent Parker out for the season, as I mentioned. So hopefully it does happen, because week 1, if it's not a problem that's fixed, then it'll be a problem that's created for the whole rest of the season, maybe. But as week 1, it would be a problem because the Chargers have one of the best pass edge rush duos in the league. On defense, on the defensive line, I still would love, I love that we saw a lot of Neil Farrell Jr. and Matthew Bowler. I love that we saw a lot of Malcolm Koonce. Unfortunately, we didn't see Farrell because he was hurt. But I love the defensive line rotation. I don't like how some of them didn't get much pressure. Kendall Vickers did get a sack. Vernon Bowler, I don't think is very good. But the defensive tackle room isn't very strong, even though Hagan's on the pup list, Bilal Nichols on the pup list. Hagan's will be back by week 1. Bilal Nichols, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he will. But it's just not confirmed. Those are just starters. That's fine. But besides that, there isn't really much. Kyle Pecco, Andrew Billings are some of the other guys. They're just not convincing options. Which heading into a boom or bust season, fully locked in win now mode with a tough division, it's not good to have areas that you're uncertain about. Speaking of that, linebacker, it's the same thing. Jayon Brown, he played, that's fine. Devon Diablo, he played too. They were both fine. Sure, Perryman's might not play in the preseason games, but he's a Pro Bowler. But besides that, I think they have to sign someone else. This is the thinnest, room on the whole depth chart for the Raiders. Kenny Young is maybe the linebacker 4 on the inside. And Luke Matterson, Darian Bowler are the other guys, the UDFAs. I count 2 UDFAs and another guy who is not very good, besides the top 3 inside linebackers. So I think they definitely need to add another signing there. And Curtis Bolton signed also, but he is not much, not going to offer much. At corner, as I mentioned in my last video, I love the rotation that they had. I love seeing Darius Phillips play well. Nate Hobbs, I was fine with him playing in the Hall of Fame game. I'd be fine with him playing in any preseason game, but for now, not on the outside. I don't want to see him on the outside. Maybe you've seen him ever play this game. Mullen will not be back yet. Hopefully he'll be back by week 1, but it's not certain, unfortunately. Mick Robertson didn't play in the preseason game last week, but in the training camp he's been doing good. We're currently splitting slot first team reps with Anthony Averett, which is interesting. The Raiders used to try him at outside corner and slot corner, didn't work, but now I guess he's back in the slot. The rotation of Chris Jones, Ike Brown, and Sam Webb with Bryce Cosby look pretty good in the Hall of Fame game. We'll hopefully continue to see that, and hopefully that translates to the regular season. Quintero Cole, Isaiah Palamau, Roger Trimmer didn't play, Tyreek Gillespie did play, Deron Harmon played, Abram played, Merrick played. Hopefully we'll see a good secondary depth rotation in the regular season. It looks looking better now than it did. Like I wasn't very certain about this room. I made a whole video about the corner room and my uncertainties about it, but I feel better about it now. So yeah, in this game, hopefully the Raiders do improve on some things. It's not really urgent. It's not like if they lose a game, it's gonna be bad for them. But hopefully you can see them improve their O-line. I would say hopefully their pass rush, and just see what you have. With some of the QBs, some of the receivers, some of the more corners, some of the D linemen. Try people out in different spots. They're required to cut 5 players after this game, so we'll do that and then maybe bring some new guys on. But anyway, that was my game preview for the Raiders and Vikings preseason game. I'm Marto, and thank you for watching.